Funny enough, okay, the projects get a bad rap, but the truth is the projects was a saving grace for a lot of people. As long as you put your focus on something and don't let anybody take your focus off of that, you'll get it. It's the law of the universe. You will get it. It has to come to you.
From them projects to them startups. From them projects to them startups. Hey, let's do it.
Nah, I mean.
Welcome everybody to From Projects to Startups, where we dive deep into entrepreneurship. I'm your host Karen, and today's guest is the true definition of getting it out the mud. Originally from San Diego, she later moved to Atlanta and grew up in Bowen Homes, the notorious housing project. Navigated childhood homelessness and housing insecurity at a young age, but instead of letting her environment define her, she decided early on that she was going to advocate for herself and build her own path. At just 13 years old, she secured her first full-time job. At 17, she gave birth to her first child and still graduated high school. By 18, she enrolled into junior college, was making $40K a year, and moved into an upscale apartment with her child. From there, she didn't just become an entrepreneur, she became a serial entrepreneur. She launched an at-home childcare business. She created a women's empowerment and enrichment brand called Rich Rose, co-founded a clothing company, and negotiated contracts to open a storefront. She built a professional recording studio, career writing, producing, and self-publishing her own EP while curating and directing music videos. She published a vegan recipe guide, a romantic partnership guide, and a gratitude journal. She built a vegan catering service. She built a private life coaching practice called Danae Divine Wellness. She is the host of the podcast, Girl Think About It, which is coming soon to YouTube and Spotify. She's also a motivational speaker who recently spoke before a live audience of over 100 convention attendees, has been featured twice in Boys ATL, including their Hidden Gems and Bold Journey sections, and served as a guest speaker at the 26th Annual A1 World Natural Hair Show Gala. She didn't just wait for opportunity, she created it. So please help me introduce Mrs. Danae Rahim, the serial entrepreneur.
Oh my God, what a beautiful, warm welcome and introduction. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. I really appreciate it. And it was my pleasure putting these achievements together.
Thank you so much.
You have so many.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's dive into your childhood and your background. So tell us about your background, because you were born in San Diego and later moved to Atlanta. What do you remember most about that transition in that season of your life?
It's really interesting that you asked me about the transition specifically, because the transition is one of the things that I remember the most. The trip from San Diego to Atlanta was a 2-day trip on a Greyhound bus for myself, my young mother, and my younger brother. It wasn't an easy, glamorous process at all. It was kind of like, I remember being about 5 years old, and it was the middle of the night, and my mom was like, hey, we gotta go.
Oh, wow.
And we packed everything up in her friend's car, which was just a couple of duffel bags, and we got on the bus and started what would be, like I said, a 2-day trip from Cali to Atlanta, Georgia. And another one of the first things I remember is when that Greyhound bus pulled up, we were in the city. It seemed a little bit impoverished compared to where I had just came from in San Diego, where even the most poor or less fortunate areas were still a lot more developed and improved than certain areas of Atlanta, especially where we landed at, which was, like I said, the Greyhound station off Fulton Street, across the street from Magic City.
Right.
So that was quite the culture shock for me.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you next. Was it a culture shock?
Absolutely. And so from there, life was tumultuous. Transitioning from California, coming to Atlanta, not really knowing how that was going to look. Again, I was only 5 years old, so I was in elementary school. This is the thick of my childhood, and I had no idea how much things were going to change outside of the physical location.
Okay. And I know they had. Was it scary too?
It
At
was.
that Greyhound station first. It's a lot of homeless people.
It
out
was scary. I think that being on Greyhound and at the Greyhound stations was one of the first scariest moments of my life because, like you said, there were a lot of homeless people and just a lot of scary people and a lot of despair. I'm an empath. I was born an empath, so even at a young age, I could sense despair, and there was a lot of it on that bus.
Okay. So you shared that you experienced childhood homelessness and housing insecurity. Is there a story that stands out to you that's significant or impactful? And how did it shape your mindset growing up?
That's another interesting question. So, yeah, like I was saying, when we got to Atlanta and me not knowing how things were going to look, that was kind of the start of that housing insecurity and childhood homelessness, because we were able to stay with family for a little while when we moved from Cali to Atlanta. But eventually, you know, my mom had to figure out how to get on her own 2 feet, and that included taking myself and my brother, who is 4 years younger than me, to a homeless shelter. And we stayed in different homeless shelters. And that whole experience, it was a grind within itself, because sometimes you are in a situation and you're fortunate enough to be in a position where you're like, I need a homeless shelter, and they have a spot for you and your children. But oftentimes it doesn't look like that at all. Oftentimes it's days of looking through, back then it was Yellow Pages phone books. Now, you know, you're looking through the internet and you're looking through all these resources. Number one, trying to find a spot, trying to find different homeless shelters. Number two, when you do find them, you have to hope that they have space for you and your family. So back then in the 90s, there weren't a lot of resources. So we were oftentimes on waiting lists. So a luxury during that time would be finding a homeless shelter with a door that closes for you and your family. Oftentimes we wouldn't find that. We would find a gym with about 200 cots spread throughout the gym.
Really?
And that's where we would sleep. And my mom would have to hold me and my brother close, pull our cots together and pray. And I'm sure she wouldn't get a wink of sleep because we're just in a sea of homelessness. So there were times, you know, just walking until the wee hours of the morning just to keep ourselves up and have somewhere to be, and not just stay still and lay down on a bench somewhere. Just walk until the day rises, and now we can find a daytime shelter that might not have the space for you to sleep over, but they can at least offer you breakfast and give you some activities to do and let you use the phone and different resources. So that time just taught me to be optimistic and honestly not give up, because like I said, having that hustle and grind of having to see, okay, this shelter doesn't have anything, we have to find something here. It was a constant figure something out. There is no I give up, because giving up is literally just deciding, I don't care what happens to me, this is the end of my life. So I think that whole transition from the moment of being woken up out of my sleep at 5, getting on the Greyhound, to navigating those different shelters and lack of shelter just taught me, if I have breath in my lungs, I can keep going, and something better will appear. Yeah.
So did you know at that age that you were homeless and...
Oh, absolutely. I was a very insightful, intellectual child. I asked a lot of questions, and I thought deeply about a lot of things. So even if the adults around me didn't volunteer the information, I could almost always piece together the clues and overhear things and pretty much know exactly what I was dealing with.
Okay. At just 13 years old, you advocated for yourself and secured your first full-time job. What sparked that level of independence so early?
My childhood. Just not liking lack. I never liked lacking basic necessities. I never liked the look of pity in people's eyes during those times of needing to sleep on a cousin's sofa or sleep on a friend's sofa, and then mind you, coming from California to Atlanta, we don't know anybody here. So half of the time when people are reaching out and helping us, it's because they see this young mother. And I say young mother because my mom was 15 years old when she had me. So fast forward a few years, like I said, I'm about 5 years old. She's still barely 20 years old. And now she also has my brother who is 1 or 2 years old. So people are taking pity on this young mother and her 2 young children. And that feeling traumatized me. Of course, on top of the insecurity and it being scary and not having food all the time, those things traumatized me. But it was something about depending on other people and the look in their eyes that made me secure employment and secure the mindset that as an adult, as a woman of my own, I'm not going to need anything from anybody. I will get it.
That's so crazy. You were so alert at such a young age to be able to pick up on it.
Yes, I had to be.
Yeah.
I had to be.
Because a lot of kids, they would not have probably understood that this is someone pitying me.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was something about the look in people's eyes. And I mean, it would be so sincere. People had good intents for us. They meant well. But mind you, like I said, we came from Greyhound, we got to Atlanta, we were still in the hood. So people didn't have much to give us. These weren't millionaires who were extending their homes. These were people who were barely getting by. So they were carrying their own hurt, their own things, and then I could see all of that in their eyes when they looking at me, a little girl, like you said, and they just like, dang, like, you don't deserve this. And I saw that, and I do appreciate, you know, the hope that was in that pity in their eyes, but it did spark a fire in me. Like, y'all don't gotta look at me like that. I'm gonna be good.
Right. Well, that's good that you was able to use that to turn into something positive.
Fuel, for sure.
And it made you, it wasn't a breaking point.
Absolutely not.
That's good. You gave birth at 17 and still graduated high school on time. What was going through your mind during that time and what kept you pushing forward?
Oh gosh. It's so funny because high school is such a blur. I think that being in survival mode, like, you don't have the average experience for a high schooler who I imagine wasn't homeless and dealing with things like that. I'm sure, you know, they recollect high school completely different than me. For me, high school was a series of having an apartment for a second, not having an apartment, where I'm asleep, going to school, telling teachers what I'm going through privately, having them slide me $50 to help me and my mom and my siblings pay for a hotel for another night. So this is what was going on by the time I got pregnant in the 12th grade in high school. So yes, I was in the 12th grade. I was 17, and it actually happened because still dealing with that housing insecurity. My family and I was staying with my boyfriend at the time. He was in high school as well, and that closeness, we living together like we're married, it was too much closeness, and that's how I ended up in that situation. But what was mainly going through my mind was just the determination to still push through. Like, by now I've made it to the 12th grade without, you know, getting myself caught up, but like I said, life happened, things happen. So now I know, like, okay, now I have a life that depends on me. I gotta go 1,000 times as hard.
Right.
What I thought I was doing for myself and my siblings and my mom, I'm about to go even crazier. So yes, I'm still going to graduate high school, even though I'm having a baby my senior year. Yes, I'm still going straight into college. Yes, I'm still going to do everything that I need to do.
Right.
And my son is not going to get bled on because of my scars and the scars before me.
Right, right. That drive, being a parent, girl, that mother.
It's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Looking back, do you think your living environment, especially growing up in a notorious housing project, planted the seeds for your entrepreneurial drive?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I just love these questions. Yes, girl. Living in Bowen Homes. Okay, so oddly enough, okay, the projects get a bad rap, but the truth is the projects was a saving grace for a lot of people. As we just discussed with my situation and my housing insecurity in my very early formative years, by the time Bowen Home came into play, I was 8 years old. And it was like a beacon of light, because here is this place, it's ours, it's an apartment. It was an upstairs and downstairs apartment, so it was like, okay, this is nice. And what it was beyond that was a community. It was so many people out there.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people out there, and it was cool people, good people, talented people, just people who hadn't been dealt the best hand in life. And so very early on, because I was a very extroverted child, it was easy for me to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I would make a friend almost anywhere, even in those dark times and those dark, rough circumstances. And so just being able to talk to different people and being able to talk to different adults, librarians, I was really close to the librarians as a child, because Bowen Homes had their own library inside.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Bowen Homes had their own library inside. That's one of the best things the government could have done for the community, because we needed that. And that planted the seeds of entrepreneurship, because what I would do was, like I said, by talking to so many people, I was essentially networking, not knowing it at the time.
Right.
I'm 8, 9, 10 years old, but I'm networking. So people are saying different things to me, like, "Oh, you're smart. Make sure you get straight A's. If you get straight A's, I'll give you $5 on your next report card." So that was one of my first hustles. Keep these grades up. Then somebody told me, "Oh, that's nice. You can draw." "Oh, I can? Okay. $5. I need this." And, I saw candy ladies in the community, so sometimes I would just go buy a bunch of candy, resell it. There were so many opportunities for entrepreneurship out there, it almost fell into my lap.
No, that's good, because I don't think a lot of people would think like that, because I heard that Bowen Homes, with it having its own community, having its own elementary school, library, and so many apartment buildings, that they felt like it was shut off from the rest of Atlanta.
It was.
But like how you just described it, it was it was a positive thing.
It was its own community.
So hearing that, it gives you another mind frame, because I'm thinking that that's bad that they did that. Why they put their own school in there and their own library? They're trying to keep the kids.
They did it for a bad reason, but we always do, we rise.
Yes.
And we turn it into a positive.
That is so true. I'm glad you was able to see that.
Yes.
And that's why you're successful.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's transition into becoming an entrepreneur. At 18, you enrolled in college. You was making $40K, and you moved into an upscale apartment. You learned to drive. You bought your own car, all while raising a child. When did you realize you weren't just surviving, you were building something?
Ooh, when did that realization hit me? I think that it started clicking that I was out of survival mode when I bought one of my cars. It wasn't my first car, because my first car was certainly still in survival mode. But when I was able to buy a 2012 Honda Civic, fresh off the lot with only 5 miles on it.
I'm not surviving. I got a new car. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's that was the first time, even though I had accomplished so much prior to this, like you said, my mind was kind of on autopilot, and I was used to being in survival mode, so it hadn't really clicked. You're not just surviving anymore, you're going beyond that. The things you saw for yourself when you were a kid and things were out of your control, they have come into fruition, and they still are. So being able to buy that car completely by myself, fresh off the lot, no co-signer, nobody came with me to check it out, I literally went alone and I got it. That was kind of more so like an award to myself for what I was building. And I think that honestly set off a chain reaction of oh, I can go buy a brand new car off the lot myself, like a girl like me from Bowen Homes, with nobody. I don't have a dad here to help me walk through this process. Oh, if I can do this, then I can really do anything. And so from there it was really nobody can tell me what I can't accomplish.
That is a big thing, because at that age, when you're trying to get a car, I guess it doesn't matter what age, you're learning about credit, you're learning about finances, you're learning about what a loan is, so, and how to build your credit. So yeah, I can see you transition into, I did another major accomplishment. I'm not surviving no more.
Absolutely.
So you launched everything from at-home childcare to vegan catering, fitness dance classes, music production, coaching, and more. What was the moment you shifted from entrepreneur to serial entrepreneur?
Again, you remember I told you even back in Bowen Homes, I had multiple hustles going on. oh, okay, you know, I'm gonna keep these grades up. I can sell candy. I can sell drawings. I can watch your kids. Like, I couldn't braid back in the day, but I wash your hair and put some bows on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that my personality type, I'm always interested in multiple things at once. So that easily kind of bled into my entrepreneurial mindset as well. I don't want to say I lose interest in things quickly, but I gain interest in new things quickly.
Okay.
So it's easy for me to have one interest and, you know, turn it into a business, a side hustle, and then see something else or even remember something else and decide I also want to get into this as well. So that's pretty much how it happens. I was doing childcare, and at the same time, people are inquiring about my mentorship services. So now I'm going from childcare during the week, and I'm hosting mentorship events on the weekend.
Okay. So with so many ventures, life coaching, wellness, music, modeling, authorship, how do you juggle it all without burning out though?
Requiring peace in my personal life.
Okay.
I think that our personal lives are the foundation for our success. Excuse me. Whether that is being an entrepreneur, whether you're in school, whether you're in a 9-to-5, whatever you do or intend to succeed at, I think that how you spend your alone time or your time inside your home, who you're around, I think all of those things are very either detrimental or supportive to you being successful, especially in entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship, unlike corporate businesses or working for other people, it takes a lot of faith. You have to have a lot of faith. And for your faith to remain unwavering, you have to be surrounded by people who pour into that faith.
Right.
Even if that's nobody but a book.
Okay.
So I think that is how I'm able to manage everything and not get burnt out, because I'm almost able to compartmentalize and understand that work is going to be draining, it's going to be tiring, it's going to require a lot, but as long as when I say work is done for the day and I can go back into my home, my environment, myself, and not also feel depleted there, then I'm able to get up and get back into the grind the next day.
Okay. I was expecting you to say like prioritization or something, but you said peace. That's a powerful
peace.
one.
Absolutely.
Because it is very important.
It is. Nothing goes without it. I can be the most organized person in the world, but if I have somebody who's deliberately tearing me apart every time I clock out or every time I go home at night, how good is my business really going to do?
Yep, that's true. That's true. And I'm glad you said it so other people can, shift their mindset from it's not just about prioritizing. So the support system you have around you bring you peace to get things done. So how much of your ambition do you believe came from your environment?
All of it. I'd say maybe 50% because I was born ambitious. I do know I was that child. Like my mom would always say, girl, you always got to be doing something. Like you always got to be doing something, because I was just born like with a battery in my back. Like, what's this world? Like, I want to see this. I want to touch. I want to experience things. So my environment definitely helped show me where I didn't want to end up. So, that was inspiring. But I always knew, like, I have to be a person with freedom and options.
That was important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So 50% Bowen Homes and 50% your own.
Just me. All me and Bowen Homes. In Atlanta in general, because I've lived in a lot of hoods, not just Bowen Homes. I've been all over this city, so Atlanta in general definitely helped.
Well, name some of the other hoods that might be similar to Bowen Homes that might have been like a disadvantage or low income.
Oh, gosh.
You lived in. Okay,
so when I first got to Atlanta, we moved to Simpson Road. I don't know if y'all know about Simpson Road, but it was definitely hood. And it was so bad, in fact, that we left again in the middle of the night and went back to San Diego. Like, my mom was like, this is too much, I can't. It was, y'all, the apartment was so bad. It was so bad. She packed us up again and we moved back to California. But we couldn't stay in California for the same reason we fled the last time. So we had to come back to Atlanta probably like a few months later. This time when we moved back to Atlanta, instead of going back to Simpson Road, we went to Ashby, which is over by the West End.
It's still right by Simpson.
Girl, still in the hood. I went to M. Magnus Jones Elementary School. Shout out to M. Magnus Jones. That was the first school I went to in Atlanta. After Ashby West End, the first real homeless shelter we lived in, that was our residence, that was off Metropolitan Parkway. Okay, also good. From Metropolitan Parkway, that's when we did go to Bowen Homes, which is off Bankhead. Left there, went to Decatur, Candler Road, also good. Okay. Left Decatur, went to the 9. I don't know if you know what a 9 is. It's Adamsville. They call it the 9 now. Or I think, y'all don't be getting mad at me. I think that's what they call it. It's a similar area. That's where I lived at. I lived there until I got my own place. I was 18, my first apartment, girl. Guess where my first apartment was? As a full circle moment.
Where?
My very first signed for by myself apartment, Simpson Road.
Really?
I ended up back on Simpson Road at 18 years old. Yes, and left Simpson Road, and then I got an apartment in Mechanicsville. So yes, I've been all over this city.
Girl, now, I always say, I feel like on the west side, Simpson is probably the worst.
Yeah.
It's got to be like the
Yeah.
hoodies.
Yeah, it ran us back. It ran us out of Georgia. It ran us back to California. Simpson Road was crazy. Simpson Road was certainly worse than Bowen Homes. Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess I can see that because I heard the stories, but yeah, Simpson Road is its own. It's different.
It's
But-
different.
You said it ran you back. Now,
It ran
that's
us
funny.
out. We lived in Bowen Homes for almost 8 years. We lived in Simpson Road for almost 8 weeks. I don't even know if it was a full 8 weeks, sister. It was rough.
That's funny. Okay, what challenges did you face early on as a serial entrepreneur?
Early on, I would say several several challenges. But marketing has always been a big caveat because, like I said, I'm a person, I have so many ideas. So it's nothing for me to get up and launch and start something up. But then comes the marketing. You have to put it out there to attract clients and attract customers. And that has just never been my favorite wheelhouse. So I had to get more comfortable putting myself out there and outsourcing ways to not just have an idea or have a business, but make it sustainable by attracting more consistent clients and learn how to market myself. So marketing was an issue, and also learning to outsource and delegate. Because I'm a person who has been independent for so long, it's not always easy for me to ask for help or partnership or support or any of those things. So
You're
those,
like a stickler.
Huh?
Because you're a stickler. You
Really?
got to get it done.
Hey,
Well, I'm asking,
I thought stickler was a negative thing.
well, I guess it can be, but it's
Yeah.
like, if you want it done a certain
I
way,
do
you just have
want
to do
it
it
done in a
your
very
way, yeah.
specific way. So maybe I am. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, I prefer to work alone. I've always been like
Yeah.
that since a little girl. I never cared for group work, group assignments. Like I
Oh,
like
I
my
hate that
own
too.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So that was something I had to overcome as an entrepreneur because it's pretty much nothing you can do on your own. Like that's
Yeah.
a great way to
You gotta
burn out.
delegate.
Trying to do every single thing by yourself, especially depending on what your business is. There can be so many different moving parts that it's almost impossible for one person to keep up with all of that. So learning to just, not spread myself so thin was something that I had to overcome in the beginning.
So, how important would you say marketing is, though, to young entrepreneurs who are on a startup?
Depending on what your business is, it's going to make or break your business. It'll be the determining factor of how long the business survives.
Okay. So when you started delegating, you created a team, you brought on a team of people?
Just different things, absolutely, yes. Depending on what I'm doing, I find other people who can help me and who, like before, for instance, let's say with my childcare business. I'm, of course, the childcare provider. I'm only caring for a small amount of children. So initially, I believe that, okay, I can take all of the children, take all of the payments, create all of the curriculum, create all of the meals, the meal plan, the meal prep. And within a few weeks of doing it, I realized this is still a lot. Even though I'm only keeping 5, 6 kids at a time, it's still more beneficial and a smoother process if I have a person who can come in and get the meals together. So when we come from arts and craft or when we come from a field trip, I'm not also having to shuffle and keep them occupied, put a movie on so I can run and get their meals together. I have somebody who has already got that together for me, delivered it for me, set everything up for me. Same thing with the financial aspect. I had to pull somebody in who could make sure we're getting payments on time. We're sending reminders out to parents about payments because, again, sometimes those were things that could get away from me. And now I'm having to go to a parent who is 2-3 weeks behind on a payment because I haven't been able to keep up with every single person who said, I'm going to pay you next week. I'm going to pay you next time.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the obstacles you face. What part of starting your businesses was way harder than what people talk about today?
Honestly, staying consistent. I think that because there are so many entrepreneurs now, we make it look easy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just a business owner and your business is booming. And it can, but it also takes a lot to push yourself and create everything for yourself. As an entrepreneur, like let's take Walmart for instance. If you work at Walmart, you get up, you put your clothes on, you get your badge, you go to work, you sign in, and they tell you exactly what to do. They tell you what time to come, they tell you what days to come, they tell you what to do when you get there. They give you a team of people that's going to assist whatever goal that you need to reach every day while you're at work. As an entrepreneur, you are the entire conglomerate. So, excuse me, I think that it looks so easy to accomplish those things, but the reality of it is you do have to have the fortitude and the drive beyond, I want to work for myself. You have to have an unwavering belief that I have to work for myself. There is no other option because that's the only thing that's going to keep you in it. Because it can get overwhelming. Right.
So would you say consistency is doing something every day towards your business?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Every day. In every way, even the small little things, just make sure you're keeping that at the forefront of your life because you are how it keeps going. If you miss a day, if you miss a moment, your business ceases to exist until your focus is back on it.
Okay. So what's something you tried early on that didn't work and why? And did you learn a valuable lesson from it?
Let's see. What did I try? What did I try that didn't work? I don't know. I feel like everything I tried worked. Yes, I feel like everything I tried worked.
Well, is there something? Well, I guess you don't feel like it's something that you failed at, or you just had to keep redoing to perfect it, maybe.
Maybe my dance classes. Yes. I do host dance fitness classes, and a challenge that I face with the dance fitness classes is having a location.
Okay.
So depending on the season, it's easy to meet up at parks or outdoor pavilions, but when it's cold outside or the weather is bad, I have to find facilities, and not having my own actual designated location can sometimes get in the way of, again, like I said, that consistency of me wanting to host the classes every week or bi-weekly because I'm at the mercy of whoever's space I'm renting. So I would say that's something that I tried and it didn't just take off the way that I saw it. I wouldn't say I failed or I gave up because it is still a business that I have, but the vision that I had for it initially, I do think it would have been more aligned with me having my own studio space or Pilates space, just so I can take off that pressure of having to figure out, okay, where am I going to host it now? Or, what contract do I need to sign now to be able to host 6 classes or 12 classes, so that's just an extra part of it that made it not necessarily go how I would have ideally saw it. Yeah. But I still wouldn't say I failed at it.
Okay, so let's talk about advice and insights for someone who is currently in survival mode, maybe living in public housing, raising a child young, or feeling behind in life. What should they focus on first if they want to start their own business?
Their well-being, their mental health. Because again, like I said before, it's not much you can do if you don't feel well. If you can't get out of bed every day on your own, entrepreneurship is not going to work for you. So you have to make sure you're in a good space to decide, I'm going to do this no matter what. Even if you're not physically in a good space, because again, life happens. And I wasn't in a good space a lot of times, having to decide that I'm going to go and do this for myself. But inside, you have to be in a good space within yourself. And that's why solidifying that peace and prioritizing your mental health is really the key. And it's so important because when your outside environment changes and fluctuates, if this is solid, you'll be able to stick to the plan. And eventually, that environment gonna change because you've been doing the work in here, and now you can rise above whatever is going on.
Right. Now, what about someone who already has a business and they want to be a serial entrepreneur like you? What advice would you give to them?
Start slow.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've already mastered your thing and it's going smooth and you want to add something else into it, I would definitely say take it slow, 1 day a week, even once a month, just to see what it really takes out of you. Because sometimes we have these ideas like, I want to do this, I want to start this, and then once you experience it, it's not what you expected, or it took more than you expected, and you don't want to start taking away from your bread and butter, your original business, by trying to keep up with something that's going to take a little bit more than you expected.
Now, sometimes some people say, I don't focus on a plan B or a plan C. I'm just strictly focusing on plan A. When you took the dive to become a serial entrepreneur, do you feel like that was something that you started coming up with plan B, plan C, or?
Yeah, because again, I've never been all my eggs in one basket type of person. Okay. So now, if I have a goal or a focus, then yes, that is my priority. And I guess people would consider that plan A. But again, I always keep myself open to everything. So even when I'm acting and I'm in acting school taking classes and doing acting work, if I get an opportunity as a caterer, I'm going to take it. I'm not looking at it like, no, everything has to lead to acting right now, because I feel like that would close me off from opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're down to our whimsical question, everyone. Okay, if your life were a movie, what would the title be and what genre would it fall under?
Oh gosh, girl, it would fall under comedy, first of all, because clearly somebody got some jokes. So it would definitely be a comedy, probably a rom-com, rom-com, like drama, comedy, and romance, all in one. Because I'm a very loving person. Yeah. Like I love love. And life has certainly been dramatic. And as far as what the title would be, it would be something like Danae's life, Danae's world, life through my eyes, unbelievable shit that happened.
I like that one.
An unbelievable experience. Yeah, something, girl. I don't know. That's a tricky question. Because you asking me to, you see how I just named several things. I told you.
Yeah.
I need options. But yeah, girl, if I could think of one name, maybe Mystical. the Mystic Hood.
Okay. So in closing, when people hear your story from Bowen Homes to serial entrepreneur, author, artist, and speaker, what do you hope they walk away believing about themselves?
It's gonna sound cliche, but you can do it. You can do it, seriously, because I remember being a little girl in those spaces that were just out of my control and just feeling like this is rough. Like, times are rough, times are hard, the environment is dark. It's a lot of sadness and negativity going on around me. But there is hope. I know that one day I'm going to be out of this. I know that one day I will be happy and more in control of my life. And I held on to that belief until it was my reality. And that's what you have to do. You have to believe no matter what is going on right now, it will get better. And as long as you put your focus on something and don't let anybody take your focus off of that, you'll get it. It's the law of the universe. You will get it. It has to come to you.
I agree. Okay, everyone, this is Mrs. Danae Rahim. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
This was awesome. You got some wonderful insights to people who may be going through similar backgrounds, going through the same thing that you went through before, and now they're trying to be an entrepreneur or be a serial entrepreneur. And I really thank you for taking the time out, blocking some time on your schedule to allow me to interview you so they can hear your story, so you can give other people motivation. So thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this, giving us a platform to be able to reach back and speak to people who are in a situation we might have been in 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it's an honor, girl. I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, that is From Projects to Startups. Again, I'm your host, Karen, and we had the wonderful serial entrepreneur, Mrs. Danae Rahim. You will be seeing more of her, I guarantee you. And she also has her own podcast too, Girl Think About It. Again, it will be on YouTube and Spotify.